So now we're going to look at using a spreadsheet. We're going to use Google Sheets to actually streamline the process of calculating my cost of production. It's going to be helpful for me if I'm a business owner, if I can set up some simple formulas in some spreadsheets that calculate all my costs for me. Because if I do this, then as things change, because things will change, it's going to allow me to be a little more flexible as I can move with changes in cost of production with my business and remain profitable. So what I've done is I've taken the numbers, the marginal cost numbers from the previous exercise we did with yo-yos. And I'm going to show you how we can set up a spreadsheet to calculate our total cost, our total revenue, and our profit. Now, on our previous exercise, we calculated total cost by adding our fixed and our variable costs. We added our fixed and our variable costs to get the total cost. And that's absolutely correct. But I want to do it a different way here. I've just included total cost here. And what I want to do is figure out how much it's going to cost me in total to produce each of my units by adding my previous total cost to my marginal cost. Remember, the marginal cost is the cost of making one more, the cost of making each additional unit. So when my output is 0, when I'm not making any yo-yos, my total cost is $12. And that's because that is my fixed cost, right? That is the cost that I'm stuck with, that is fixed regardless of my output. Now, as I start producing yo-yos, I begin to have a marginal cost. The cost of producing my first yo-yo is $4. The second yo-yo is $3 to produce that one. So to create my total cost, what I'm going to need to do is take my initial fixed cost and add my marginal cost. So that would be 12 plus 4. That's my cost of producing the first unit. So we're going to use the spreadsheet to do that for us so that I don't have to sit here and do the math all the way down. The spreadsheet's going to do that for me, and I'll know my total cost at all these different levels of output. So let me show you how to do that. So when we're creating a formula in a spreadsheet, we're selecting cells and telling those cells what we want to do with them, or what we want the spreadsheet to do rather. So these are all cells that I'm clicking on right now. The other thing I need to make sure I can see is this formula bar. See f of x, this formula bar. If it's not showing, it means that it would look like this for you up at the top. You need to make sure you go to View, Formula Bar, and now you're going to see it. So what I'm going to tell the Google Sheets to do is that I want to select this cell right here. This cell is called C6. And I am going to say, okay, here is what I want you to do in C6. I want C6 to be the total of the sum of these two items. So I'm going to click on C6 and I'm going to come up to my formula bar and say, I want C6 to equal, I'm going to hit the equal sign, the sum of this one, that's called C5. See, I've got a blinking cursor here, plus this one. This one's called D6, and you can see it up here. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to do that math for me. So let's go ahead and do it again. I'm going to select this one, tell it that I want it to equal, oh, it's not up there. There we go. Equal the sum of this one plus this one. Oops. And there you go. So 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. Now, I could keep doing this all the way through, or there are a couple of different options that I can do to streamline this. I can take this cursor right here and drag it down, and it'll fill that in for me. Or it's supposed to fill that in for me. It's not working. There we go. Sorry about that. And it will just autofill all of that for me. Or there are a couple of shortcuts I can do on the keyboard as well. But what I did, so I only had to put that formula in a couple times. Then I was able to find this little, you see, I click on this and I get a little kind of what's that called? Like I guess a little square in the corner. And as soon as this becomes a big plus sign, I can just drag it down and it's going to fill in the whole thing for me. So now what we're going to do, so we've shown you how to do the first one. This was simply adding my total cost to the next marginal cost. And once I had told it how to do the first formula, I could automatically have it enter all the way down all these calculations by dragging and dropping. So I want you to continue to do the next thing. So next we're going to calculate total revenue. Total revenue is marginal revenue times output. So here's my marginal revenue. I'm clearly charging $9, right? That's the money I earn from making or from selling each yo-yo. It's my marginal revenue times my output. So once again, I'm going to click over here on what I'm trying to, this is where I want my calculation to end up. So I want this cell to equal marginal revenue. And now I'm going to tell it times. So with spreadsheets, times is going to be a little asterisk. I'm going to tell it that I want it to be marginal revenue times output. And I'm going to hit enter. And it's going to do it for me. Now here is the second cool little shortcut that Google Sheets gives me for filling in the entire thing. And that's this. You can do Control and Enter on your screen. That will autofill it. You can also check this checkbox. I'm going to go ahead and do Control Enter, and it's just going to fill the whole thing in for me. So it's done my total revenue for me. It is all the way down, calculated marginal revenue times output. It's done the math for me. Last thing we're going to do is profit, which is total revenue minus total cost. So now I'm going to tell Sheets that I want it to subtract the value of two cells. So here is what I'm going to start with. I want this cell right here to equal, I'm going to hit the equal sign, equal total revenue minus total cost. So total revenue right here, I'm going to come up to my formula bar, hit the minus sign, total cost, and hit enter. And there we go. It is going to fill that in for me. And I can go ahead and hit the checkbox this time. So I've shown you 3 different ways that Google Sheets will sort of, offer, hey, how can I calculate this for you? And there you go. Now you have this spreadsheet complete. And now we're going to look at all the different ways that we can now use this spreadsheet now that we've taken a few minutes to set it up to be flexible as things change in the marketplace. So once you've taken a few minutes to get this all handled, come back and watch the next video.